Good morning, Tallahassee. It's time to wake up War Chant on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hajavandi and Corey Clark.
They're playing basketball. We love that basketball. They're playing basketball.
Welcome on into a special edition of Wake Up War Chant. We're here in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena. The show brought to you by For the Table Hospitality, and there are three awesome locations back in Tallahassee, sweet Tallahassee, College Town, Central, Massasoit Township. Go ahead, check them out. Maybe watch the game tonight. It'll be a long one. No better way to get it started and ended by hanging out those three locations. I'm here on premise at Bridgestone Arena with none other than Corey Clark. Corey, you're right here, like beside me. This is cool. There's no glass. There's no telephone wires. Just two dudes and two headsets.
Yep. What are we, 18 inches apart? Just like it needs to be. It feels right.
It does feel right.
Yeah, first time I've been back in this place since Florida State lost to Cincinnati in the 2012 tournament in this venue, which was that was the second to last time Florida State won a game in the NCAA tournament too, because they beat St. Bonaventure the 2 days before that. So, interesting coming back here. That was one of the probably more painful losses of Leonard Hamilton's tenure in Florida State, because that team had a chance. They had won the ACC championship, and Cincinnati was a 6th seed, and it was tied at 50 with like 90 seconds to go, and then Luke Laux made an unfortunate turnover that put Cincinnati ahead, and then Florida State could never catch up.
All right. Well, that's a really good memory. Appreciate that.
Hey,
thanks a lot,
guys, wake up.
All right, so check it out, folks. Today on the program, we'll obviously be talking about basketball. Big game tonight with the Noles taking on Missouri, 9th-seeded Florida State taking on 8th-seeded Missouri again here in Nashville. We'll also have our Renegade Express mailbag. We'll see if we go into overtime. We actually might try to rush through some of that stuff because we're on the road. It's a little more difficult out here. We're not.
I'm going to nix overtime. Just getting this set up was overtime.
But we'll also have in the second segment, we will have an interview with
with Stan Jones, the assistant coach from Florida State, who's been with Leonard really every step of the way since Miami, then went with him to the Wizards. It's about a 14, 15-minute interview. I got him on Thursday talking about the season and about some of the memories of the last 10 years. And I kind of asked him a pointed question. It wasn't pointed. It wasn't pointed.
Question, huh?
But how they were able to regain the momentum of the program from going to 4 straight tournaments to not going to 4 straight tournaments. And now they've been here 2 in a row. They certainly seem to be well on their way to a 3rd one next year if they stay healthy. And how that happened. Because a lot of times it's hard to steer it back around once it seems to have fallen a little bit, to mix metaphors. So I thought it was a really interesting interview. Obviously, I poked fun at him about not getting Andrew Wiggins and not getting Michael Porter Jr. I'm like, why didn't y'all recruit that kid?
Right, the
super duper star from Missouri. So I thought it was really interesting, a nice little insight into an assistant coach who's been with Leonard every step of the way.
All right, but before we get to that, let's talk about some football. This is some stuff that we couldn't get to on Thursday due to time constraints and things of that nature. So we have a spring rooster.
The rooster, okay.
The rooster has been released there, Corey. Anything that jumped off your page? So apparently Willie doesn't let guys start off with single-digit numbers. They have to earn it.
Okay.
That's kind of interesting, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. So what's James Blackman's number then?
13.
Ugh. Danny Cannell. A little homage to Danny Cannell. I can't think of another 13 that was a quarterback at Florida State.
Antonio Cromartie, but that's corner.
Yeah, corner. I
can't think of any other 13s besides.
I like single digits. I think those are cool. I don't know what that even means. How are they going to earn it back? You know what I mean?
It's like the whole Duke thing. Like, didn't Krzyzewski do that a few years ago when Duke was struggling? He took their names off the front of the jersey.
He took their names off, and I've never heard of you got to earn your single digits. So really you're only talking about, 12 or 14 kids that are in the single digits when you talk about, there's some on offense and defense?
9, I just counted real quickly. It looks like 9.
Oh, really? I thought there would have been more than that. And
Blackman,
I know people might be saying
Taylor,
to themselves,
Cam Akers, Kalen LeBourne, Dontavius Jackson, Trey McKitty, Naquan, a.k.a. Nooney, Stanford Samuels III, and Jaquez Patrick.
Okay, all right, yeah, because people might be thinking to themselves, "Hey, moron, there's only 9 single digits." But they do have duplicate numbers, specifically in those the first 10. A lot of people want to be number 1. A lot of people want to be number 8. So. They sometimes have 14 or 15 guys with single digits. But, okay, so those 9 guys, have a good spring, earn your number back.
Yeah, there you go. Piece of cake. We also have some weight gain numbers. Are you ready for this?
Oh, boy.
Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Since we're in the arena and everything. Obviously, James Blackman, right?
Yeah, what's he up to?
He was at 169 last year.
Okay.
I'll set the over-under at 178. Do you think he's over or under 178?
I think he's over.
He is not. He's at 176. They listen him
Okay,
as.
so 7 pounds. That's not bad.
And they
in 3
lied to
months.
us because wasn't there an interview where Willie literally said he's gained 12 pounds?
Well, yeah, but then again, who are we? Are we believe it? You know, it's always hard to believe rosters.
I'm kidding. I'm not calling Willie a lie. It's good-natured fun. There's some people out there that genuinely think I have like an axe to grind with Willie. So I need to
I'm one of those people, and I don't
Corey.
understand.
Stop encouraging them, Corey.
Yeah,
This is
sorry.
what things happen. Like you joke
Just
around.
saying, I don't understand it, guys. I'm with you.
Your sarcasm is so subtle that they can't pick up on it.
Yeah, it's very dry.
Yeah, nothing.
It's dry to the point of being like my actual opinion.
Yeah, I mean, some other weird sort of, I don't know, comings and goings in terms of the weight. Arthur Williams, I mean, can we get something out of him? He dropped 15 pounds, dropped from 316 down to 301. Marvin Wilson put on 9 pounds. He's 6'5", 6'5", 332. Actually, no, I take it back. All that is totally incorrect. Arthur Williams put on 15 pounds. He went from 301 to 316. Marvin Wilson dropped 9 pounds. He went from 332. He's now a svelte 323, 6'5".
Oh yeah, probably dropped a size from what 52 to 40. I mean, I have no idea what those sizes are for pants when you're that big. But that's good. I know he's a kind of supposed to be a freak for his size and be able to move. But I mean, I thought at times, I mean, he's really big, like crazy big, and maybe get around to 310. Maybe that's where they want him. But again, if they're making these strides, and who knows their roster numbers and and weights, so it's hard to know for sure how accurate they are. But if he's really lost 9 pounds in a couple months, that's a good sign. He's taking it seriously.
That's cool because it's always like put weight on the kids. It's like just can't some kids just slowly gain a few pounds, or we strip them down a little bit of some weight.
So James Blackman's been playing football since he probably could walk. He's been playing football for a long time. I'm sure he's tried to gain weight. He doesn't want to look like he's 120 pounds. So
Safe
he looks like
assumption.
John Isaac. So I mean, he's tried to gain weight. It's going to be in his first 18 years of life, he had gained 150 pounds total, apparently, 155, 160 pounds. So some bodies just don't put on weight naturally. And if he can be 200 pounds by the time he's a junior, then I think you're in good shape. That's what you're looking for. It's gonna be. I mean, you put up 30 pounds in an off season without people raising eyebrows.
At the end of the day, I mean, let's be honest. He was supposed to get redshirted. He probably wasn't supposed to play as a redshirt freshman. He was supposed to probably get 2 solid years of being in the weight program before they'd kind of, unveil him or actually give him a legitimate shot at winning a starting position here. But this is the sort of necessity of, the situation right now. Other things that kind of jumped off, the more impressive, I guess, Trey Lawson, freshman, he'll not be a sophomore. I'm sure he got redshirt. He's probably a redshirt freshman now. He lost 17 pounds. He went from 250 down to 233. Delvin Purifoy put on 15 pounds, so I guess linebacker's no longer his home. He's a full-fledged defensive end now. They have him listed as. Right. And Ricky Aguayo, what are you doing, Ricky? Ricky gained, that's 20 pounds? Yeah,
What?
20 pounds. He went from 196 to 216.
I mean, again,
Golfing a lot.
I mean, hey, man, just try to kick it straight.
Right. And last one, Stanford Samuels, the third, went from 169 to 184. Man, 6'2", 184?
He was 169 last year playing major D1 football and playing it kind of well, actually, there at the end of the season.
6'2", 184, that's a pro. That's a prospect right there.
That's a nice body type. Really worried about Aguayo putting on that weight, though. I wonder where is what's he trying to do?
Maybe he's got a thicker lower end now.
Yeah,
maybe he's
that's
got
probably
thicker
that's
lower
it.
side. Because listen, man, the ball never really comes off Ricky's leg. I'm very nervous anytime Ricky kicks anything.
No,
even extra points.
It never comes off all that solid.
It doesn't.
No, not like his brother.
Perhaps
how
his
brother was at Florida State. I mean,
what was his nickname that you had for him?
a great toe.
A great toe.
A great
Solid. Oh, and I lied. One other thing. Jaden Woodby, 6'3", 216.
Yeah, man, that's
True
a crazy.
freshman.
That's a
Good
crazy
grief.
specimen for a true freshman who should still be in high school.
Welcome to the Terror Dome, brother. That'll be fun. So, yeah, and apparently practice starts on the 21st, so we're less than a week away from practice. We have a schedule that we were given in terms of the availability and whatnot.
We'll get Willie 3 days. I know we're going to get Willie 3 days a week is what it said, which is awesome. As Ira has noted in many different platforms, and Gene on War Chant, the access that we've had since Willie took over has been minimal at best, non-existent for the assistant coaches. We haven't been able to talk to them, which has been disappointing because people want to hear people want to hear from the new assistant coaches. They want to know their story. They want to know what they're like. They want to see them on video. They want to read the quotes, and we haven't gotten them at all.
We had to drive 5 hours. We got one. We drove 5 hours to get them.
Yeah, exactly. For
Fry.
4 minutes, you got Greg Fry. Yeah, so but for 4 minutes, none of them have been made available, and I hope that changes. Hopefully that'll change this spring. But at any rate, we will get Willie Taggart a lot this spring, which is always nice.
3 days a week. But before practice, and they're going to practice at 8:45 in the morning. I mean, his availability will be 8:45 in the morning. Our ability to view practice begins at 9:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
What do you talk to the coach about before practice?
Hey, Coach, what are you looking to see out there today? What do you want to see? Some pads? You want to see him hitting? You want to see some energy, some
Bouncing
life?
around doing things?
I know you want to see him do some things.
Right.
Would you like to see him bounce around too, or do you want to save that for the next day?
Let's bounce to a commercial break. We're coming to you from Bridgestone Arena here in Nashville, Tennessee. Opening round action of the NCAA tournament, Knowles in Missouri. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. We'll be right back after this.
You're locked in to Wake Up War Chant on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Welcome on back to Wake Up War Chant. A little bit of a subdued version because we're at Bridgestone Arena here in Nashville, Tennessee. I don't want to yell. I can't yell and have the big fancy microphone in front of me. But we have some pretty good gear here, though. I'm Aslan alongside Corey Clark. This show brought to you by For the Table Hospitality and their 3 awesome locations over in the College Town District. You already know all of them. Central, Madison Social, Township. If you were in Tallahassee, which one of those would you go to watch the game tonight, Corey?
Probably Madso.
Madso?
I think.
Solid. Always a good choice. All right, we'll get to the Renegade Express in segments 3 and 4, but we have a little treat here. So, you hear from us enough. We talk plenty, probably too much.
Yes, we
it's
definitely
good
do.
sometimes to have somebody else sort of take over the mic, Corey, and you had a pretty good idea about sitting down with somebody.
Yeah, we got assistant coach Stan Jones, associate head coach, whatever his title is. Sorry, don't mean to be dismissive. Got him for about 15 minutes during the player availability, coach availability on Thursday, and talked to him about the direction of the program and everything that he's like to have seen this season.
Surprise isn't the right word. Were you pleased overall, looking back just at the regular season, not what happens from here on out, not what even happened in Brooklyn, with what you guys did this year? I mean, you lost 4 starters, 5 contributors when you count Jarquez, who was almost like a starter because he split so much time. And, really 2 of probably the most talented players you've ever had, and another kid that's now in the NBA in X. I mean, you lost 3 NBA players legitimately off a team, and then you get back to the NCAA tournament. That's, I don't know, maybe at Duke's and North Carolina's people assume that does happen. So what were your thoughts, looking back now, just in hindsight, what are your thoughts on this season?
Well, I think it's been a terrific job by our kids. I think it's been a terrific job by our coaching staff because a lot of people didn't expect that. Even I don't think our most loyal fans thought we'd be. They probably thought we were going to be in NIT at best. That would be the ceiling for us this year. We felt a little different, when we recruit kids, and I think that's one of Coach Hamilton's strengths is, and almost to a fault at times, we recruit kids that we believe in, and we try to make them know we believe in them. Mm-hmm. And so whether they're Dwayne Bacon and Jonathan Isaac and Xavier Rattan-Mays, who kind of come in a little bit more over the top in terms of their talent, we still believe in the guys we bring in, and I think our guys have kind of fed off that. And you see we went into we played Duke down to the last 2 minutes. We have a 17-point lead to Louisville in the first half. We're up on Virginia, the number 1 team in the country, 10 at halftime. We're really close. And I think if this team comes back intact next year with the young kid coming in and with the kids we've had sitting out developing this year, I think we're going to see this season be a springboard into something even bigger next year.
And that's what you look at. Like, there's a chance that Phil comes back.
Yep.
Angola really, could be the only person you lose. Is it hard not to almost get excited about what 19 is going to be? I mean, you're in March Madness, so you're in where you wanted to go, the ultimate goal. And, man, you got to be excited about what the future is, too.
No doubt. And I'm really excited about the kids that have been sitting out this year. Raekwon Gray, Anthony Polite, and Wyatt Wilkes has kind of moved into the injury redshirt deal. He's had a tough deal. But those kids are basketball kids. They've grown up in basketball environments, and they've been champions at the levels they've played at. And you throw them in the mix, and those 3 replacing Brian in the potential rotation, Devin Vassell has had a phenomenal growth this year, which the
incoming freshman, the recruit
that we signed in the fall. He's got his kind of surprised people in Georgia and made us look like we're pretty good evaluators. I think he's going to be a surprise talent, and he looks like a Florida State player. He's long, he's athletic, he's versatile, like the guys we've had to be with. And so, if Phil's thing comes through, and you have these guys back and another year of development, summer development with Kamaje and Ike, and the continued growth and now we got an older team all of a sudden, which is the key to our league.
A team that's been through the rigors of the ACC, won some on the road, not as many as you'd like, but won some in some tough places, and gotten to the tournament, right? Don't you think that just bodes really well?
Well, you look at the same path that the championship team in 2012. They kind of went through the same type of progression when that class of Luke Laux and Xavier Gibson and David Asdulkis and Pierre Jordan came in at that same time, and they kind of grew them. Went 1 year, they didn't win their first 2 years in the tournament.
Right.
Then we won, and then we won the ACC championship. But they did experience some success in the ACC tournament. So I think it's all these are reference points that just really make the future look bright.
Now, before we started this interview, you mentioned that this was you've been in this locker room before. We're in Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, where you guys were here in 2012 after that ACC championship. You squeaked by St. Bonaventure, which is crazy. They were a 14 seed.
Ooh.
That's nuts. Looking back on that,
They had a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, and they won the Atlantic 10. They weren't coming out of the Horizon or the Sun Belt. I mean, they won a real conference. They had 4 bids in that year. So you squeak by that one, and then I don't know, man. When you do it as long as you guys have done it, you've had a lot of great wins and memorable wins that'll last a lifetime. I assume that's a loss. Being back in this locker room reminds you of probably one of the more painful losses, but
I don't know if it was painful. It was disappointing.
Right.
That team was still a championship team. They were great. The NCAA tournament is so much about matchups.
Right. It was right. I mean, I think it was like maybe 50-50 with a couple minutes left.
With a minute to go.
Yeah.
And we had a bad turnover.
You had a point guard that made a ill-advised cross-court pass, and he played awesome that game and awesome down the stretch of that season. Yeah.
And, it wasn't all him. Our two-guard also didn't space himself in the right. He was a little out of position where he should have been to create a better passing lane.
This is 6 years ago, and I'm sure you can see that play, right?
And that's one reason Coach Hamilton keeps me around. That's about the only thing I have is a long memory. And it was. But Cincinnati was a tough matchup. We started 2 bigs. They were a 4-guard team, and so that made it a tough matchup. They were very well coached, like they are. They've continued to be good since then. And it was a tough loss, but those kids battled and clawed, and we just got a tough draw in that bracket we got that year.
And this year you got Missouri, who has a kid that's only played really 1.5 game, and had 30 games off. But he happens to be a kid, Michael Porter Jr., who is, before the season started, he was mentioned before Marvin Bagley. He was mentioned before Trey Young. He was the guy.
Yeah. He's a more polished Jonathan Isaac.
Okay, so why didn't y'all sign him? Why didn't y'all recruit him?
Well,
what was the story there?
Well, we didn't have an opening on the staff for his dad to come with him, so that kind of helped. And they had grown up in Columbia, so it was
his brother was on the team. His brother's on Missouri's team too,
his
right?
sister played on the women's team.
Oh, okay.
His brother graduated early from high school, so he could play with him.
Oh, I see. I got you.
Reclassified.
Okay. So when you recruit, and I was going to mention Jonathan Isaac, who it might be the highest rated recruit you guys have ever had. And you've had a few. When do you feel good that he's coming here? We got him. Was it easy with him? He's such a different kind of cat that it seems like he didn't grow up being the basketball junkie that had hangers on in the AAU circuit. He just because I guess he sprouted his last couple of years of high school.
That's exactly right.
He was 6'5" or 6'4", and then turned into 6'11". So when did you know? Okay, number one, this guy's an awesome player, and we got a real shot at landing one of the top 10 players in the country.
Well, we knew that as long as Jonathan kept the main voice in the deal, because Jonathan's a real relationship guy, and Coach Hamilton identified him very early. Coach did a great job of evaluating him. Dennis Gates did a phenomenal job becoming a mentor to him and a confidant and a guy that he really gained to trust during the recruiting process. And Jonathan was set on that he wanted to be with people that he felt he could trust and were going to be by him. And once he said he was coming, we felt pretty good. We just didn't worry to know all the people around in our business to. If people are going to put undue pressure on him, that, hey, you need to go this, you need to do that, So, but Jonathan's a kid. He's a young man of great substance and character. And once he gave us his word, unless something undue happened that was crazy, we were going to be okay with Jonathan. But, those guys, that's just a story that kind of happens where you get, you be at the right place at the right time, and you see a kid when he's really young, and and you start recruiting him, thinking he's going to be a good college player, and all of a sudden he hits that growth spurt and
Right.
that talent development, he becomes an NBA lottery pick.
Was there any chance at all that you thought he might be here this year?
No, not talent-wise. I mean, no.
Did you, I mean, even
But-
last year, were you like, man, just
No.
one more year, John? Well, John, we got
Now,
some.
coming from the league, and his coach has been the NBA guy. Now, if it was up to Jonathan probably would have liked to have stayed in college one more year.
Right.
Just
He
because-
seemed like a college type kid and really liked being on the team and the brotherhood of it.
No, and he was. I remember early in the one day we were practicing. He stayed after practice, and I was helping him with a little couple things. He says, "Coach, I can't go pro." And I said, "Jonathan, let's don't worry. Let's just worry about getting this skill right for the next game, and let's just go game by game, and we'll worry about that at the end." And you're right, coach. You're right, coach. And so he was just that kind of kid. He was very conscientious about who he is, where he was, and his readiness for things.
And it just becomes a point at some point. I mean, when you're going to be a lottery pick, it's hard. I mean, you could change lives.
Yeah.
You could change generations in your family.
Certainly, the possibilities there.
Right. And how cool is it? Last couple questions wrapping up here. How cool is it to see X in the league?
No, I'm very happy for Xavier because he is a guy. We always talk about great stories and people who really work and pour their lives into trying to reach a goal. And as hard-headed as he was at times and as emotional as he was at times, the young man was never a slacker. I mean, he was a guy 2, 3, 4 workouts a day, never missing curfew, never out doing crazy stuff, partying and stuff. It was all about, I'm going to play in the NBA. Mm-hmm. And that was his goal, and and everybody knew it was his goal. Sometimes you question, could he get there because he was so emotional about things and we get a little bit too out of control sometimes trying to reach his goal. But he's just stuck with his confidence. He's stuck with his beliefs. He's stuck with his work ethic. And to see that rewarded is just a great story for him and his family. And couldn't have been happier for him when I called him when I heard he was getting his 10-day contract, and we talked about it because he and I spent a lot of time together, especially the last couple of years.
I'm sure. You raised your eyebrows then when you said spend a lot of time.
A lot of man hours.
And he couldn't get Wiggins to come, huh?
Well, now you talk about disappointing and bad memories. We'll stop.
Where were you when that happened?
Yeah, let's stop with the Cincinnati loss in 2012.
I think when I look at the tenure that you guys have had here, obviously the first 6 years, you guys were really close to some nice seasons and had some nice seasons. Kind of got, in my words, got screwed one year not getting in the tournament.
2006.
Also, the year Tony hurt his hand. Was that year or was that a different year? If he doesn't hurt his hand, you guys make the tournament pretty easily. You'd already won at Duke that year. And then
Tim Pickett's senior year.
Right. And so then you go to the tournament 4 years in a row, and then you hit a lull where you don't. How did it get turned back around? Is it too easy to say it's just, Bacon and Beasley? I know Beasley didn't go, but you get Bacon, Beasley, Terrence Mann, and then Isaac the next year. It's hard to regain momentum after you've lost it.
Yeah.
Sometimes. How did you guys manage to do it where now you've gone 2 years in a row again, and if everything breaks right like it should and people come back and you may take the next steps, you'll be favored to go again next year. So how did it?
Well, we also had some bad luck in that run too. Now, if you remember the 2013 team with Mike Snare as a senior, we were playing great. We'd won the coaches versus cancer in Brooklyn.
Did Ian get hurt? Ian Miller?
And he has a stress fracture in his foot.
Right.
And we lose him. He tries to play for a lot of the year, just not practicing, taking shots and those kind of things, and just couldn't produce.
Right.
And Terrence Shannon goes down with an injury, who was playing probably the best of his career while he was here. And we go 9-9 in the league. If we get one more win, we're probably in that year.
Yeah.
And then the next year, in 2014, we lose an overtime game by 1 to Michigan down in Puerto Rico. We lose at the buzzer to Florida, and they put it on the screen. We were the second team out of the tournament in 2015. If we don't, and I don't remember exactly, we lost somebody that year to an injury as well. And then the next year we lose Aaron Thomas at Christmas time. We don't get Andrew Wiggins in the recruiting class, and we probably messed up there. We didn't really have a backup plan, and if we didn't get Andrew Wiggins. And so it kind of snowballed, and some of the guys that now had to play bigger roles weren't quite ready for that, and came up just a little bit short.
But how? So it wasn't. Y'all didn't change anything necessarily. Obviously, you're always trying to recruit good players that can help you win games. There was no philosophy change, or as far as scheduling, or anything that was like, man, we got to get. Maybe more. The better question is, how frustrating was it that a team that had won 4 straight been to it 4 straight, missed it 4 straight times? How frustrating was it, and how rewarding is it now?
3 of the 4 years we felt like we could have got in.
You were tournament caliber teams, yeah,
and we were close, and and we went to the Final Four of the NIT, and we did make a few strategy changes. We've kind of gone when the 2012 team, we were more of a high-low traditional power forward, and that's kind of how Phil Kofer got recruited when he got here, was to be that. And as we started getting guards like Beasley and Bacon and Xavier and Jonathan, and we started realizing we had to get a little bit more open the floor up, a little bit more face-to-basket game, a little bit more diversified, and play a little faster. We had to do that, so that's been our biggest change, to let those guys' talent, as we recruit them, to put them in their best position for them to be successful, because we may not have them for 4 years.
Right.
So that's probably been the biggest change we've made, is just changing from the old secondary break, high-low look, a lot of off-the-ball screening, to having a lot more spread the floor and ball screen action that we've utilized the last 3 years.
All right, last question. 30 seconds or less. I know you got to get out of here. Describe to me and the listeners Leonard Hamilton.
And I tell this all the time when I'm in recruiting. As good a basketball man as he is, he's a far greater molder of people. He is the genuine article in terms of his care for his program, his university, his players, his coaching staff. I mean, he spends as much time every day worrying about all of those dynamics as he does about even his own health. And you just don't find people like that in our business very often.
Right.
It's going to be true to you. And probably the other thing that he's the biggest at is when things don't go well, he's never a finger pointer and throwing everybody under the bus. He's a guy that I should have done this better. I should have handled this better. And again, in today's society, you just don't see people like that. So that makes him one of those kind of unicorns out there that are just different and unique, that don't come along all the time. And that's one reason why I haven't been antsy over the years waiting for a great opportunity, because I work for, I think, the best man in the business. And to work for a man, I didn't say coach, I said man.
Right.
And that's important to me, because I think character is valuable in anything. You can't be a champion without character. And so I can't say enough great things about Leonard Hamilton. That's he's been a difference in my life.
I feel like that was more than 30 seconds, but it was worth it, man. It was worth it.
My dad was a preacher. He went over a lot, too.
I gotcha. Stan Jones, I appreciate it, man. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much, Corey.
Good stuff out of you there, Corey. Way to be a good
You got to
interviewer.
see, I don't want to call myself a young Mike Wallace,
Okay.
but you can if you want. Go ahead. Do you not want to? Wasn't exactly a Mike Wallace type interview.
Thanks to Coach Jones for taking time out of his busy schedule.
Thank you very much. That was very nice. That was very nice of him, and I think that's a pretty unique look into a high level Division I basketball program.
One that could possibly go on a little bit of a run here.
Could win 6 games and cut down the nets, baby.
You mentioned this on our segment on War Chant TV. You were posed a question by myself and give us a stat. I was asking if Terrence Mann and Brian Angola combined for X amount of points, would they win? And you were like, I don't like that example. This is what was your example?
Mine was if they make more than 8 3-pointers, they're going to win.
Bold.
There you go. That's
bold.
Hold me to it, gang. Hold me to it.
I will. I'll remember
know.
that. Mind like an elephant. All right, let's step aside for a break. When we come back, we'll let you folks take over. Renegade Express. We'll dive into all your questions, praise, and pop
Rapid
shots.
fire.
It'll be fun. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll be right back after this. It's Wake Up War Chant, ESPN 979 Tallahassee.
WarChant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source, knows now is a time of true excitement for Nole fans everywhere. That's why WarChant.com is especially proud to announce its newest team member, senior writer Corey Clark. Combine Corey's expertise with owner Gene Williams and managing editor Ira Schafel, and WarChant.com boasts nearly 50 years of experience covering the team you love. It's Taggart time in Tallahassee, and that means now is the perfect time to sign up for your free 30-day trial. From National Signing Day to March Madness, WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
I'm Aslan. He's Corey. This is Wake Up War Chant. We're coming to you from Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. Music City, right, Corey?
Music City.
Yeah. You can hear
Sweet, sweet country music.
driving the soul, driving the soul. The show brought to you by For the Table Hospitality. They drive us every single day here on ESPN 979 Tallahassee. There are 3 awesome locations over in where?
College Town.
Boom. Look at this guy. Sharp as a tack.
I was listening.
Sharp
That helped.
as a tack. The locations, obviously, Central, Madison Social, and Township. Go ahead, check them out. Report back to us, perhaps on the Renegade Express. Speaking of which, let's go right to it, shall we? First question comes from Kurt OFD78. Says, I think Aslan and Corey do a great job on the show. It's much easier to listen to. His question, it's been discussed in the Jimbo Chronicles, and I can't do the air horn because we're remote. I don't have
Oh,
the
that's too
technology.
bad. Yeah.
About how recruiting largely stopped around October of last year. One member of the past staff was retained. Is it known what Odell was doing as far as calling, talking to, visiting recruits during the season? Real quick, he wants to qualify the fact that he admires and respects Odell tremendously. He's not trying to put him into any sort of negative light. He just wants to know kind of, if we know what perhaps Odell was up to around that time.
I do not, no.
I think Gene kind of laid out the best sort of defense of anybody, perhaps, is the fact that it sounded like at one point Jimbo might have just been like, screw it, forget recruiting, we're drowning right now, let's focus on winning football games.
Right.
And then when we get to the end of November, we can get back into recruiting. So I don't know how dubious that sounds to coaches that have been in the game for 20 years that you're going to put the pause on recruiting. But I don't think, listen, they got to take orders at the end of the day. What are you going to do if Jimbo tells you not to recruit? Are you going to be like, nah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get on Seminole One and fly out to California and do some recruiting?
Right, and I also think that Odell, unlike all the other guys on the staff, had to at least feel pretty confident that no matter who came in, he wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the other guys probably felt nearly as confident as Odell was. So maybe he could have recruited a little bit more because he could sell, yeah, man, if he's talking to a defensive tackle, yeah, I'm going to be your position coach.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have been lying.
No, he would not have been if I could learn how to talk. It's so weird being out here. I feel naked. Like I'm not in the comforts of the studio.
But you're not naked.
I'm not. I'm fully clothed. Corey, on the other hand. Enol _2000. Yo, good sirs. Love the show. Shout out. Appreciate that, Enol.
Yeah, man.
If each of you were general managers for your favorite NFL team, which Knoll in the 2018 draft would you take, and which round would you feel comfortable taking them in, assuming Derwin is gone by the time your team picks? Even if your team picks early, let's exclude Derwin since that's the easy answer. Still waiting on that dope Corey Clark freestyle. See Clizzy in the house.
Well, you'll be waiting a little bit longer. I would say, who am I going to say? I would say maybe I like Matthew Thomas in like the 5th. I think he's a wild card that could end up being a good NFL linebacker if he's engaged. He's athletic. He's got the talent for sure.
I don't really have
linebacker.
I don't really have a favorite NFL team. Like my brother, I kind of like the Niners for a long time, but they obviously.
All right, well, just a nondescript NFL team.
No, it has to be because you have to factor in needs, like the Bucks. The Bucks should take like Derek Nottie. I would take like Nottie in the 4th round.
Yeah, I think that's a good value. I think he could play in the league for a good long while. He's a
Nottie.
strong dude, hard to move.
If I was the Niners, I would say I would take Auden Tate probably low 2nd round, early 3rd round. They need receivers.
Yeah, that'd be a little too high for me with Auden Tate, but yeah, could be.
All right, back to our friend.
I would take and also Jalen Wilkerson probably low 1st or high 2nd.
Solid. FSU guy 1989. Hey, fellas, thanks for the answer last week. Now this. During the lull in football offseason, how do you not go crazy? I try to keep sane by focusing on the Garnet and Gold game, hoping that my Steelers get Derwin and watching the FIFA World Cup. I was wondering what you guys do during the football offseason to keep busy.
Well, I like college basketball a lot, and I know it's Florida State isn't a quote unquote basketball school, but they have a pretty decent program, and we get to see them play really good teams and really good players, so that keeps me entertained. And then baseball is my favorite sport, so that always keeps me going. I know college baseball isn't a big seller by any stretch, and I'm not a huge college baseball fan.
I thought you said college football is your favorite sport the other day.
It is.
Baseball?
Baseball is my favorite overall, just sport. Sport to play, sport to watch. Okay. But college football is like my favorite season. Does that make sense?
Okay, all right.
I'm trying. It's hard to explain, but if I could just watch one thing, because baseball, Major League Baseball is number 2. Overall, baseball is like the sport I know the best, the sport I played 11 years growing up and all that. So, anyway.
This is what I do. It's aim small, miss small, FSU guy 1989. I don't focus on fall. I focus on how far we are away from spring. Then I focus how far we are away from the actual spring game. Then I start focusing on the next thing. It's the next obstacle. It's the process.
Right.
I don't focus on the end game of Labor Day. I just focus on
You're not a
what's coming up
results
next
guy.
month.
You've always been a process-oriented guy.
Pretty much. All right, let's see if I can get this right. Let's go to our friend Garnett, 76.
Man, he's a staple.
Hey, Corey, following up on your comment about yoga pants last week, have you heard the story from a couple of years back where due to a manufacturing problem, Lululemon was making yoga pants that women claim were nearly see-through? Oddly enough, men couldn't seem to understand what the problem was.
I had not heard that, but again, yoga pants are incredible.
They are.
It's just an incredible invention.
anytime you want to do something nice for the missus, just buy her a pair of yoga pants.
They're
Ladies,
perfect.
if you're ever in a funk, your guy's being mean to you, just go buy a pair of yoga pants.
And
It'll
just
cheer
walk
you up.
around in them. Go to the
Yeah.
grocery store.
Check yourself out in the mirror. It's fine. You go, girl. It's 2018.
Yeah, it sure is.
Women rule the
It's the
world.
year of yoga pants.
Also, Garnett 76. Gosh darn it. Garnett 76 says,
Garnet.
also in honor of the upcoming St. Patrick's Day, I have a limerick. He wrote us a limerick. Corey.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Well, let's not solicit these necessarily. We don't want people to send in their own rap lyrics or sonnets. But we'll hear a limerick.
All right. It says, there's Aslan. He's new to the show. And Corey, he helps make it go. They say we are woke. It's hardly a joke. And now we should rate them a 5. Well, man.
That's a good one.
Maybe we can make T-shirts with that.
Yeah,
on the back.
that's a really good one. When they say we should rate them a 5.
And it's funny because at no point was Garnett like, hey, it's Garnett, like Kevin Garnett, instead of being like, Aslan, stop saying Garnett. But
Yeah, no, he's fine with it. Garnet and gold.
He's laid back. Also, maybe a good reminder, if he's going to rate it 5 stars, you guys should hop over there and rate us 5 stars as well if you don't mind. Going over to the iTunes, subscribe, all that good stuff. Actually, I almost want to step back and read one of the reviews we got. Somebody
Well,
gave me
you can save that for the next segment, buddy. Come on,
sorry.
don't get off track. We got questions to answer.
Moving along, FSU_JT. You guys actually already kind of talked about this on the message boards, but I'll read it to the folks who maybe don't subscribe to War Chant, which they need to immediately start doing that, folks. Go to warchant.com, free 30-day trial. Check it out. You'll love it. I keep hearing Corey Clark talk about not wanting an updated Spirit Spear if they're going to bring it back. First off, it's me that's saying that. I'm the one that I don't want it updated. If they're going to bring it back, I want it old and rickety.
Well, I'm with you. I think we're both on the same page.
Okay.
there.
So this is FSU_JT. I really need to know why you feel this way. That thing was, quote, cool for the 80s, but Lord knows it would be tacky with all uppercases to put back in the stadium now. You have to know that. So he proposes this to Corey. I still don't understand. Basically, he wants to put spears in the corners of the end zones, I guess.
Yeah.
And he wants them. This I can get behind this, man. At the top, there would be flames that would ignite, and the flame would sustain as long as they're loud.
Yeah. I mean,
Was that the way? Was there actual legitimate fire coming out of the original Spirit
No,
Spear?
no. It was just it
Big
was a
light.
flame. It was a lit up. It was
Light bulb.
Yeah, it's light bulbs that looked like a flame.
Yeah, we're all for that. If they want to do anything that's going to actually,
Yeah, but just throwing it up on the video board's not going to do it for me. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sorry, it's just not.
I
mean,
don't
I
want the
get
digital
it.
meter. No,
I mean, I'd rather have Stanford Samuels being like, "Get up, everyone! Come on, guys, let's go, Knowles!" That kind of thing.
those are the worst.
They're awful, and they're in every arena.
Everywhere. Stop it.
And
everybody.
there's not one guy that looks comfortable doing it.
Corey replied on the internet saying, I feel like every man, woman, and child on earth can get behind that idea. Friend of the program, West Duval Knoll, responded, what about mutants, war daddies, and bad ASSESs?
Yeah, who knows how they feel? But I think everybody else on earth would be happy with that.
I can go with that, too, yeah. I mean, if they're going to make it look all nice and laser-etched out of...
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be exact replica of what they had in the '80s. Update it, modernize it, but still have it be a real tangible thing that we can hold and see, an actual structure.
Yeah, an independent piece.
Yes,
Yeah,
not just something on the video board.
Exactly. 12 Knoll asks myself, what, in my opinion, is Florida State University in Tallahassee missing to give it an edge over other college towns? 12 Knoll personally thinks that the live music scene is lacking and could use a few pointers from schools like Georgia, tags Corey Clark,
Indeed.
and perhaps Texas Austin.
Yeah.
You can hop in this one too, Corey. I mean, I don't know. For me, what's Florida State Tallahassee lacking? It's bizarre to me that Florida is the third most populous state in the entire country, and Tallahassee is our capital. Like, there's just not a lot. It's the capital of Florida. There should be a lot more cool stuff going on. And I don't know how that's very vague. I know, but there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing that particularly jumps at me that's lacking. I mean, we have Uber and all that stuff now, which is cool.
That is big.
That's
Huge
been around
big.
for you guys for years.
Got a Bojangles a couple
was
years
in-
ago.
I was in Dothan. We still don't have Uber over there in Circle City. I don't know. I mean, I think there's like an actual arts district now. I mean, that whole Gain Street Railroad arts park. I mean, like, that's crazy to me. Like, there's literally like a hipster. There's like a bourgeoisie neighborhood for kids. Like, if you want to go like drink lattes and drink $9 beer and look at art, like, that's there for you in Tallahassee. That's pretty cool. Not a lot of places can say that.
It's certainly getting better. It's getting better than it was when I started at the Democrat 10 or 11 years ago. It's starting to feel more like a college town. It just never did. It never did to me. It's like it could never make up of its mind. Is it a college town or the capital? and it kind of dipped its toes in both waters a little bit. And I think now, at least with College Town and what they've done to Gain Street, it's a cool little area, and it certainly wasn't before.
No,
that was a rough spot.
I will say this, though. And when I was in college, it was all spread out. You had Late Night Library that was on Gain Street. That was probably the only redeeming thing about Gain Street at that point. Then you had Potbellies off Copeland near campus, and you had the Tennessee Strip. It would be nice if there was just one centralized nightlife district, or at least just one or two. It's so fragmented,
That's the cool thing about Athens. It's the real downtown, and it's all downtown. But it's 4 or 5 different streets and going one way and 4 and 5. There's a lot of blocks with a lot of different places to go, and I'm sure Austin's the same way. Gainesville's the same way.
They have 7th Avenue or whatever, and Austin is like their
thing.
Yeah,
but it's centralized instead of like, okay, you can go to Bulls, you can go to Potts. So I'm a cool guy. I know what the kids call. I know the nicknames the kids call them.
Right.
Mad-So. Obviously, you would go there before you go to any of the other spots. But so they're not all necessarily that close, which is a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, but now you kids have like the Uber and the Lyft, so you can like.
Yeah, man.
Imagine
and kids
me.
Uber. If
imagine
you're drinking
me.
Uber.
In my day, we had to call Yellow Cab. Like what was it, 222-2222, and then
just hit 2 for a while.
They'd be like, "Yeah, it'd be an hour and a half wait." You're like, "What?
Yeah,
hour and a half?
That's
Good
when
grief.
you just drive home.
Yeah. All right. Let's step aside for a break. We'll drive the show home after this.
You're locked in to Wake Up War Chant on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Landing this bad boy right here in the middle of Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee, home of first-round action of the NCAA tournament. Florida State taking on Missouri. Friday night, 9:50 Eastern, 8:50 local time, and we're local because we're here in the thick of things. We being myself, Aslan Hajavandi, and Corey Clark. It's Wake Up War Chant, brought to you by For the Table Hospitality, and there are 3 awesome locations. There's some dude right now in the middle of the court taking a selfie.
That's cool, man. Good for him.
Grown dude taking a selfie. Good for him indeed. He could probably post that on the Madison social feed if they had something like that, right?
Probably so.
Madison Social is also part of the For the Table Hospitality Group alongside their friends across the street of Township and Central. Wouldn't it be a bad idea to maybe go check one of those locations out, folks? Tell them that Corey and Aslan sent you. That might get you, like, free ice in your cocktail.
I feel like it'd give you a free meal.
Whoa, that's big time. All right, let's go ahead and plow through the rest of your guys' mail. Dunla, 402. Let's keep hammering home the idea of changing the numbers to white and get rid of that god-awful, quote, tribal sleeve on the football jerseys. There's always been some semblance of, like, trim, though, that's tribal-esque.
Yeah, I do. I feel like Taggart is the kind of guy that, he's brought Charlie back into the fold, Charlie Ward back into the fold as an ambassador. Obviously, Peter Warrick's, going to be a part of the program again, it seems like. Dion for sure. So he pays all these homages to history. We'll get back to the white numbers. I think that would make everybody really happy.
That works. I agree.
You know what I mean? I think Willie would care about something like that.
Moving along, next question. Finhead asks, how did you order your steak today? Is that some sort of inside joke that I missed out on?
I don't know, but I would always order my steak medium.
Medium well guy. I'm a medium well. It's a slight bit of pink.
The problem with medium is sometimes it comes really, I might as well have said, as rare as you can make it. But again, you can always send it back. If I order medium well and it comes out too well, it's like, well, we're done. So I like medium's right about where I like it. A little bit of red, a little bit of blood on my plate that I can mix in with the rice.
What's your favorite cut? Like your favorite steak?
A ribeye I think. Yeah.
I'm a filet mignon guy.
Are you a little filet guy? A little highfalutin over there with your fillets?
You know it. When we go to Omaha, Drover.
Yeah,
live,
been there once.
Live remote from the Drover.
Yeah.
We'll do the show from the Drover.
Oh, heck yeah. We'll do a Facebook Live of our meal.
Fantastic. All right, let's move on to the next question from the Renegade Express.
How hot would that be to watch me eat a prime rib? Holy moly.
Just the juices dripping
down. Oh, just all in my goatee. Oh, just on my lips.
Drink it in, ladies.
Wake up, War Chant. Wake up with that image.
All right, Mr. HK asks, can you expand on the great job John James did with our recruiting class and how our new head coach that loves FSU messed it up? I think that's a little bit of sarcasm. I think it's a bit of a pointed question.
At you.
At me, for
okay,
sure.
Good.
For
all
sure.
Right, good, because I don't think that at all. I think Taggart's great.
Let me go ahead and expand on it then. 5-star Cam Akers. best overall player on that entire roster, maybe the best player in the entire ACC. Marvin Wilson, 5-star defensive tackle from Texas. Perhaps the game changer, the next great defensive tackle in the lineage of proud defensive tackles at Florida State University. Josh Kando, 5-star defensive end. Big tall tree, 6'8" or whatever he is. The quarterbacks that are going to be out there that everyone seems to have a pretty good feel for, pretty good optimism on those guys. Keith Gavin, a guy that should break out if it's going to be a simplified
you say quarterbacks.
offense.
That's where I have the biggest issue with Jimbo's recruiting in recent years, is quarterback. I don't understand why the quarterback position has been like it's been since you had a run of 3 straight first-round quarterbacks.
Makes no sense.
That's to everything else. You're right. He loaded up the defense. Look, this roster's talented, man. He brought in some really good players. He was not doing well in 2017, and as we talked about earlier, there's probably a lot of factors that went into that. They were doing so bad on the field that maybe he took a step back.
Their recruiting wasn't that bad. Once
they weren't doing Florida State. They weren't doing Florida State level of recruiting like they normally do. Like being 16th at Florida State isn't what you expect, and you would make fun of Florida if they had the 16th best class. So he wasn't doing well this year for whatever reason, this past year. But all the other years he'd done fine, in my opinion. Offensive line, they hadn't done great. I think that might have had something to do with who his coach was. And then quarterbacks, I don't understand it. And that'll always be where I think it kind of went off the rails a little bit. Francois might be a fine player. It's bizarre that your backup, if he got hurt, was a true freshman that had been on campus for 30 days.
Well, no, yeah, JJ, but JJ just never developed.
Well, how do you recruit that kid?
Yeah.
How is that kid on campus? How is Sean McGuire supposed to step in after Jameis leaves? Were you really surprised that Jameis Winston left? And if Jacob Coker, if you really thought he was the next guy, figure out a way to make him stay. All that stuff, plus Malik Henry, DeAndre Johnson, I'm not blaming Jimbo Fisher for DeAndre Johnson. That kid had no really red flags at all until what happened. And he rightly
punched the girl.
He rightly got kicked off the team for that. I'm not blaming Jimbo for that, but I'm blaming him for Malik Henry, and I'm blaming him for Kai Loxley, and I'm blaming him for
Will Secord.
Will Secord, but I'm blaming him for JJ, and I'm blaming him for Sean McGuire. I don't understand why those guys were on the roster. How Florida State struck out. Not only just because Florida State's a great football school, but you just had 3 first-round picks in a row. You should be getting it should have been like Kentucky when it comes to point guards. They just go and get somebody that's going to be a lottery pick. Every year they hand pick. Okay, who's the best point guard in the country? All right, we're going to get him. And if we don't get him, we're getting number 2. Florida State all of a sudden was getting like the 8th best quarterback or the 11th, or in J.J. Cosentino's, I don't know, the 412th. It's just bizarre to me how the QB recruiting kind of faltered.
All right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack that one. Okay, one more. One more. Let's go. Let's do one more.
That was a lot of Jimbo, vitriol.
But he did really well. He recruited everywhere else really well, every other position pretty much.
The bottom line is this. If Willie Taggart wins a national championship in year 3, it's going to be on the backs of a lot of guys that Jimbo Fisher recruited. So I'm not going to be that guy that's going to be like, he won with Jimbo's
probably
players.
Not a lot of Jimbo guys in year 3. If he does it in the next 2 years, they're all Jimbo guys. Year 3,
right? Cam will be gone.
You know what I mean?
Marvin will be gone.
Yeah.
All the guys I said that were really good will be gone.
But if he does it in 18 or 19, then that's Jim. Those are Jimbo's guys.
Listen, Mister, I don't dislike Willie.
Did you say List and Mista?
Mister, that's Mr. HK, the guy who asked the question.
Okay. I thought you were talking to me and calling me Mista.
No, I'm not calling you that. No, I'm showing you the proper reverence.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Don't touch me again.
It's kind of weird that you're 18 inches away. Tactile
I know.
feedback.
It's right there, so easy to touch.
Listen, man, why can't we just realize that there's some good stuff that happened?
Why can't we just all get along?
All right, FSU 91. Actually, no. I skipped over. Oh, check it out. Maxwell Gibbs, our favorite pledge master.
Okay, right.
He asked, what's more likely to happen? Florida State falls behind 25 to Missouri tonight and then catches fire to still lose by 10?
Yes.
Florida's look at this guy. I actually like him.
That's funny.
Florida State blows out Missouri and shuts down Michael Porter Jr., or it's a close wire-to-wire regardless of who wins.
I would say probably C.
Okay. These teams both have warts.
Yeah.
And they,
But, I mean, heck, would we be surprised if they got down 23 in the second half and then somehow cut it to 8 in the final 2 minutes?
I would be surprised if they fell into a hole. I mean, there's no excuse for it.
No,
man.
there isn't.
There's no excuse for that.
Baseball's a funny game. If you're not hitting, you lose. Basketball. But still, quit doing that.
Knock it off. Leonard Hamilton was dancing yesterday during.
No, they
pregame
seemed
warm-up.
really loose. I don't know if that's a
Whatever
good sign or a bad sign, but
I
they seemed really loose. So
told
I
my
assume
buddies
that's a better sign than if they were tight.
I don't know. I'd rather see business-like, but then I'm that guy. Like, I don't like people having fun.
Well, no,
everyone
you
needs to
really
be-
don't.
Everyone
That's
needs
why
to be
the
miserable.
show is the way it is.
Maxwell
business-like.
also adds, Aslan, you continue to give me reasons to dislike you. You're old. Stop going to Leech. At least get a membership to Golds on Pensacola Street. Do that, and I'll change my review from 3 stars to 5 stars, bud. Corey, keep doing you, brother.
Max, you're my dog. You've always been my dog, and you know that, man. I'm trying to represent.
Dude, Golds is like dingy and gross, and you can't even bring your gym bag onto the floor.
Do you go to Leech? You said
I go to Leech,
Good
yeah.
for you,
But you
buddy.
can't bring your gym bag on the floor at Leech either. But at least they give you like nice free lockers and stuff. And there's like a sauna, there's a whirlpool, there's fitness classes, there's the
Hey
indoor
man,
track.
you're protesting too much, buddy. You do you. It's a little creepy. I agree with Max, but it's fine, man. You're still you're an alum.
All right, getting ready to land the plane. We're winding things down here.
All right,
on the,
yeah. Last one,
Corey
please,
stove.
please.
Corey's hungry, folks. I need to give him a Snickers. Aslan and Corey, I just started listening to the podcast this week, that being FSU 91, and I love it. I live in Missoula, Montana, and spend a lot of time in my car driving throughout western Montana listening to talk radio and podcasts. And now
What a life.
Now I start my day with you two. Thanks for what you do, as I love being able to listen to FSU Sports Talk way out here in the wilds of Montana.
I'm glad you got to that one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
And I say what a life. Like, it's just crazy the disparate lives that people that listen to this show have.
Yeah.
There's people that live in New York. There's a man driving through the frozen tundra of Montana.
I don't think he's necessarily a truck driver. I think he just
No,
he's
it just
talking about
is. No, it's just driving, listening to us right now, looking out at the big sky. That's crazy.
the big sky.
Good
Look at
time to
you.
be alive.
I drop it. He asks me, where did you live in Montana? Did I read Bozeman? I'm a Missoula guy who was married to a Montana grad. We are Grizz boosters and season ticket holders. I'm not sure how much of a feel you got for Grizz Cat rivalry when you moved out here. I'm just wondering if you got a feel for it. I tell my friends back east they wouldn't believe how intense it is, and it's a Bama-Auburn type of rivalry. For 24/7, 365. Did I do that right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to go really fast because I know you're hungry, big guy.
Yeah.
Just on a smaller scale, as there aren't many people there. Thanks to both of y'all for doing the podcast. I love your takes on FSU.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I was out there. It was a really big deal. I mean, that's all they have is Montana football, Montana State football. And they really do. There's a lot of animosity between both programs. The crazy thing is, like, they keep a running tally. Basically, it's like whoever has more Montana guys on their roster is like a more legitimate team in their eyes. If you they're the whole Florida State. Remember when Florida State stopped recruiting Miami and started going national? Everyone's like, we got away from our roots. Like when Montana State if Montana State has fewer players from Montana on their roster than out of state, everyone gets mad at themselves.
Yeah. Do they have a real Grizzly on the sideline?
They do not.
Oh,
but
what
the
in the world?
trophy is legitimately so heavy it's driven out to center or midfield in the back of a pickup truck.
Oh,
the
I
trophy
still feel
is
like a Grizzly should be on the
gigantic.
sideline.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. All right, FSU 91, thanks for that. We appreciate it. I think we got one more question. Let's get to it right here. Jameis Winston Churchill.
Okay.
Clever title. I think it's pretty clear that the lack of depth at wide receiver will open the door for incoming freshmen to get meaningful snaps. The hype seems to be around Trayshawn Harrison, but I personally believe Jordan Young is a more college-ready and explosive player. Which freshman wide receiver do you think gets more snaps? How many total touches do you think each will get?
That's too specific for me to answer. I would say watching the film that I thought Jordan Young looked like the guy that could play immediately. They all look really talented. He's the guy that maybe looked a little more polished than anybody else, but again, that's just film.
He's from
we don't
Georgia,
know.
too, so you're not
Well,
biased
you're
at
right.
all.
So yeah, man, it's hard to say, but I will say yes, they'll have to. They will have to play freshman receivers. So I would say whoever the best freshman, let's just cut it that way, whoever the best freshman wide receiver ends up being in 2018, I think their over-under will be, I think they'll be at 25 touches.
I like the number 25. Yeah, it's tough for me to say. They really value Trayshawn Harrison. You know, David Kelly, the wide receivers coach, said at the signing day ceremony, they all had Trayshawn Harrison as the number one athlete in the entire nation.
He's the kid from Washington, right?
Correct,
Seattle.
yeah. But there's something about Jordan Young. He just looks, I mean, I hate to be that guy, but just the eye test, he looks like he has the dog in him. I feel like he's going to go out there and be a pain in the rear end to cover, and he's going to go up and jump up and get balls, whereas I think Trayshawn Harrison's more of a wide open space, speedy kind of a guy. Jordan Young's more, he'll body you up, so I appreciate that style of football.
I appreciate that we've done another week of Wake Up War Chant.
That's Corey telling me that our time is up.
Well, my time is up.
Yeah. We enjoy you guys hanging out here. We really do appreciate it. If you could hop on iTunes, maybe give us 5 stars, maybe subscribe. Shout out to Corey. You can make fun of me. It's fine. And don't forget, folks, FSU taking on Missouri in opening round action of the NCAA tournament, 9:50 Eastern time. Corey, when we reconvene on Monday, will we be getting ready to go on another leg of our journey together covering the men's basketball team?
No.
That's Corey. I'm Aslan. Have a great one.
Darn pop-ups and video ads.
Are you wasting your time again on clickbait FSU updates that are bloated down with ads?
Yeah. And after crashing my computer, the information isn't even up to date. You're on warchant.com. What's really going on with the Seminoles?
For the real scoop, you'll need to get your own War Chant subscription.
What's it cost?
Free. There's a 30-day trial offer right now.
You know I like free. Sign me up.
Use the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Nobody has more accurate and timely information on the Noles than warchant.com.
Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole source.